Hi, I'm Gavin Harrison, and today I'm considering some dilemmas. Well, the first 30 odd years of my professional life, I was a session drummer. And actually, the thing about being a session drummer is a majority of the things that you'll get asked to play are things you don't really like, because being a professional musician means, by definition, to make money. So you can make money playing sessions, but you need to play any session you're offered. Even later, when you might have more of a reputation, you'll still get asked to play things which you don't really love, or isn't your cup of tea, as we say in England. And in the end, it gets a bit tiresome. I found to be a successful session musician, you've got to be a pretty good actor, right? Oh yeah, this is sounding great, man. Yeah, no, it's really good. I love that vocal. Oh yeah, because they want people. They don't want miserable people. There's enough people to get a session drummer. There's enough people wanting to be a session drummer to ask somebody else. So you've got to be a nice person. And sometimes I don't think I felt, it was just a job sometimes. Being a band member's great because you get to contribute to the music. You can get involved in the writing, the production, the mixing, the recording, the decisions about everything. And ultimately, it's more satisfying to play songs that you've participated in, and you can have much more of a nice feeling. If I'm just sitting behind someone on stage as a hired hand, or I make a session for someone, I don't get any of the feedback. You know what I mean? It's just an afternoon's work, and you take the money and you go home. If you arrive in a position in your life where you're lucky enough that you don't really need the money anymore, well then suddenly it doesn't make sense anymore. Well, yeah, two of my absolute heroes. Um, that would be a hard choice. Of course, unfortunately, we've spent the last 29 years without Jeff, so it's not even possible. Um, I grew up listening to both of those guys a lot, and that would be a really hard choice. They're both. I think I was lucky in that the two guys I gravitated towards, Steve and Jeff, were actually very musical drummers. I could have gravitated to drummers who were much more technically flash, or had ridiculous, enormous drum sets. But I gravitated towards those two guys because I liked the way they played, and I liked the way they made the music feel, and I liked the way that they affected the emotion of the music. So I don't know. The only one possible now is Steve Gadd, and he's my hero. I have got. Actually, I had a 16-inch bass drum for a time, and an 8-inch. I haven't played a 26-inch bass drum. Actually, do you know what? I played Carl Palmer's famous steel drum set. I went to the Modern Drummer Museum, and they've got Carl's, and I think that might even be 28. And it sounded amazing, with two heads on, quite tight, and the metal, the
Yeah, I
steel
remember.
Carl Palmer kit. And I played. Oh, wow, what a bass drum! It's really deep as well. Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah, you know what? I find playing the drums in the morning really hard. It takes me a long while to wake up. I like to sleep. I found out Roger Federer, the tennis player, when he's in sort of tournament mode, he sleeps 12 hours a day. And there's a lot of sense of that, like, 8 or 9 hours in one go, and then 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon. And because you play such a physical instrument, and the older you get, the recovery becomes important. And it's hard on tour to sleep properly. You know, you're on a bus rattling around. So, yeah, I'm better in the afternoon, actually. If I was going to make a session at home, I might listen to the song in the morning and make some notes. I might even play for 5 minutes, but I'm really going to start 2, 3 o'clock and finish by 7. After that, you know, I have done sessions till 2 or 3 in the morning. It doesn't get better. I think there's a good chunk of 2 or 3 hours in the afternoon where you can really concentrate and you feel physically in the best shape, but not in the morning. Well, yeah, I guess both. I mean, I've got pretty bad tinnitus. You know, I called the tinnitus helpline, but it was just ringing and ringing. There's a joke. You know, when I'm working, I don't want to put too much pressure on my ears. If I've been recording all afternoon or doing a concert, I don't get on the bus or go back to the hotel and listen to music. If anything, I listen to music which is very unlike the job that I'm doing. You know, when I'm playing with King Crimson, I'll go back and, I don't know, listen to smooth jazz or something. Life's about balance. You need to get the yin with the yang, you know. But when I'm not playing, yeah, I mean, I don't really relax to music. It has such an emotional effect on me. If I feel like putting on an album, I'm going to listen to it. I won't just sort of lie in the garden and it's in the background. I have to listen to music. And there's like, if I'm doing my accounts, every 3 months I've got to do VAT accounts. And I always put on an album because it helps me not think about how much money I'm going to give away to the government in VAT. Yeah, so I think I use music for different purposes. I mean, my cheating the polygraph was a sort of bucket list thing to do. I grew up listening to jazz music. You know, my dad played trumpet, and I would see him playing in a big band. And right at the very deepest part of me, there's such emotion connected to big band music. It really takes me back to, you know, even before I was 10 years old, listening to big band, getting excited about big band. There is something right in the core of me that just loves it. And of course, nobody asks me to play in a big band anymore, or for a very long time. And cheating the polygraph was just, you know, maybe the most successful thing I ever did to me. If you measure success in happiness, which you should, then it was by far the most happy time I ever had. If you just measure success in numbers, then the numbers are never big enough, right? You could have a number one album in one country, but then you want a number one album in 3 countries, and then you want a number one album all over the world, and then, you know, the amount of records you sell, someone's always got bigger numbers than you, and if you measure success in numbers, you'll always be unhappy because they're never enough. But if you measure success in happiness, I don't think I've been happier with any record that I've done before or after that record, because it was such a special thing to me and my childhood and my father and all those things. I did a lot of drum festivals, and I haven't done a drum festival or a clinic since 2016, which was a sort of conscious effort. I think some things in your life make a lot of sense, you know, like doing sessions or drum clinics or festivals. And then one day you wake up and you think, this doesn't actually make any sense to me anymore. Do I enjoy it? I don't think I enjoy it. I don't need the money. I don't enjoy it. Why am I doing it? It just, suddenly some things just stop making sense to you. And if you can afford to not do that anymore, then don't do it anymore. It doesn't make you happy. You're only on earth for a certain amount of time. It's pointless doing things that make you unhappy. It wasn't even that it made me unhappy. It didn't make me unhappy doing drum festivals. It just made me anxious. Just anxious about the equipment, about the sound check, about the performance, about people asking questions. It was a lot of things in my brain, a lot of wheels going round, and it just kind of stopped making sense to me. That's not to say that I won't do another drum clinic or another drum festival. The last drum festival I did, it was a weekend, and I arrived on the first day. I was headlining the second day, and I came in on the first day, and I saw a couple of drummers play, and they were super technical, really fast. And for the first time ever, I was at the back of the audience, and I witnessed the reaction of the audience to the kind of speed chops thing. And I thought, I don't belong in this. This isn't what I do for music. I'm a musician who's works or has worked as a professional musician and played on albums and toured with bands. The clinic thing came much, much later in my life. It wasn't the start of my professional career. I always wanted it to be an educational interaction, because I used to go to clinics and I'm always hoping to learn something and steal something that I can practice myself. All I learn from guys, the super chop guys, is, wow, that was amazing. But I don't learn anything. I just think, wow, that guy's incredible. I sit at my drums and think, I can't remember anything they played. Sometimes I watch a drummer, on YouTube or in a concert, and they do one little thing, and I remember it. And next day I'm on my drums, I'm thinking, what was that thing they did? It was super. It could be a small detail, and it was really nice, and I can steal it and incorporate it into the things I do. I think drum clinics evolved, in my mind, to become something much more of a sort of show. A sort of circus kind of thing. And that's great. I'm not criticising people who do that. It's just it didn't make sense to me anymore. Yeah, but why do I need to be in a position without a ride or a toms? I don't know. It's never happened to me. I've never arrived at a venue so small. They said, listen, you can either bring in your ride or your toms, but you can't bring both. I mean, it depends what you want to play. Some people have asked me before, could you do what you play on a three-piece kit? I say, yeah, but I'd never have to. I never have to. I don't sit in jazz clubs where there's only a three-piece kit. Of course I could. I could play on a three-piece kit. I could play on the ceiling if you want me to with a pair of drumsticks, but it's not a choice I have to make. Earlier in my career, I used to play along to records. I used to play along to my dad's jazz record collection, and I would just sit there and play a ride cymbal and just listen to the music and enjoy the synchronicity and the swing of playing along. I didn't need any other things. My dad used to play a little bit of brushes on a magazine. He would get a magazine that had a nice surface, and he would just play brushes along to jazz records. And I thought, oh, that sounds great. And I would do that sometimes. Not even a drum, just because it's really quiet, and just play time. It's nice to just synchronize with something and feel like you're in sync with the record. And then when you're in sync and you're feeling, you just hear the music. I would learn the trumpet solos, the bass solo, the I could sing them as I'm playing. And I was just playing time. And I think that gives you a kind of musical ear if you just play time with a record. Well, I mean, in many of the sessions I get asked to play, in the early stage of trying to develop an interesting drum design for the piece, because the kind of sessions I do now are only sessions that I want to do. And people send me things on Facebook, and sometimes I have to say, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm the right drummer. And sometimes they send me things like, oh, that's very interesting, I'm a little bit inspired. And so what I would do is record little pieces. I might find something interesting for the chorus, and then I think, oh, maybe I'll find something nice for the verse. You know, it might take 5 minutes or 5 days. And then I have written a drum part that I like, and the shape is nice, and all these things, but it's a patchwork quilt. And I prefer then to try to play a performance of the whole piece. I want to get 4 takes all the way through. Okay, there might be a mistake, I know I can fix it or drop it in, but I want to feel like I played the whole, let's say it's 5 minutes, the whole 5 minutes from beginning to end, from a consistency, because I might play with a different feel at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or a different feel at 7 o'clock in the evening. The drum sound changes slightly, the tuning changes, or my intention, I'm starting to feel more laid back or more on top of the beat. And if I'm using little bits from all over the day, I can hear it's not one performance. And then, okay, so I get 4 takes all the way through, which I like. I listen to all 4 takes, and I say the best vibe is, let's say, take 3. But there was something really good on take 1, this bridge, and I could try to edit it into take 3. And the fill at the beginning, the best one was take 4. So then I might edit that onto take 3, and then I listen to take 3, and I think, oh, that fill and that fill are very, very similar. Let me listen to the other 3. Number 2, oh, that was nice. Right, I'll put that in. But I don't want to do lots and lots of cuts, only a small number of cuts if it helps the overall shape of the song. It's not to find the flashiest fills it's just to find the best feel for the overall song, and if there was anything really kind of magic in the other takes. You know what? I got a really nice thing happen to me on the last King Crimson tour. The Zappa band were opening for for King Crimson, and it had Scott Tunes and Bobby Martin and Ray White, guys who were in Frank Zappa's band. And I said to the drummer, Joe Travis, really great drummer, I said to him, myself and Jacko, the singer guitar player of King Crimson, we've been friends for like 45 years. I said, 29 years ago, I did a drum clinic and me and Jacko played a Frank Zappa song. And he said, oh, which one was it? I said, it's a song called What's New in Baltimore. He said, we know that song. Why don't you and Jacko come and play this song with us? And it really was a fantastic thrill. We got up in New York, we went on stage and we played What's New in Baltimore. I mean, obviously I'm on Joe's drums, which were everything in the wrong place for me, and with heads I don't normally use, but it was such a great thing to do. Alan Holdsworth, I love Alan Holdsworth. It's a dream. I don't know if I could do anything more interesting or better than Gary Husband or Vinnie Colaiuta or Chad Wackerman or any of the great drummers that he's used. I enjoy listening to all of them play with Alan. I guess I would have had to try to find my own path to play with Alan. And Chick Corea, I love Chick Corea. I grew up listening to a lot of Chick Corea, and that's where partly you really fell in love with Steve Gadd, Mad Hatter. There's a song called Dear Alice, and when I was about 14, 15, put the headphones on, I used to listen to this song. It's one of the most incredible performances from Steve Gadd, really improvised in the moment. You can tell the two of them are trying to hang on to each other. Great. Three of my heroes, really.
So which one?
Which one? Well, yeah, that's tough. I think Chick Corea, actually. I think because Chick had such a beautiful feel on the piano, because he's a drummer, he can play drums. I don't know if you've seen him play drums. When he plays like swing things, like Humpty Dumpty, it's just magic. The feel, sometimes you get a great feel from a bass player and it makes you think, oh yeah, but when you hear Chick play, solos, or just, he's got such a great swing in his playing. It's so much like a drummer. I don't know of other piano players I can think of that have got such great time. A lot of piano players have got very nice metronomic time and tempo, but Chick had this kind of swing about him that would be so nice to play to. When you work with a great bass player, it's like, wow, suddenly playing the drums is so easy, because I'm just following the bass player and he's so good. And I think that would be the same with Chick, that everything would be so easy to play because his time felt so nice. It would just be a joy to play with him.